Okay, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Emily Crow, and I am a junior at Highland School. I enjoy spending time with my friends and family, playing sports, and doing mission work with my youth group. Last year, I had the opportunity to go to Haiti for spring break. It was a life-changing experience that I will never forget. Psalms chapter 118, verse 24 says, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." I recently found an article titled, "4 Stages You Experience When You Get Home from a Mission Trip." The 4 stages being exhaustion, depression, cultural frustration, and resolution. Being curious, I read the article and was shocked at how accurate the 4 stages were. Stage 1, exhaustion. Wow, I had just gotten home from a week-long mission trip that involved getting up when the sun came up, or actually should I say being woken up by goats, dogs, and roosters, and going to bed way past the sun going down. Our days consisted of playing with children and walking a lot, 37 miles in 5 days to be exact, not to mention in the 90-degree weather. I was tired. I think it's normal after any trip you go on to be tired when you get home, whether it was a weekend, a week, or a month. All of the excitement and action you have experienced on the trip wears you out. When I got home, I was tired and drained and just wanted a nap. Stage 2, depression. After I had been home for a few days, my tiredness turned into a form of depression. Not the clinical form of depression, but depression caused by being away from what I had experienced. When the tiredness had subsided, I began to truly understand what I had experienced. I went from seeing and feeling a little piece of heaven back to my normal life at home. I desired to encounter the powerful God in His presence and the incredible joy that I felt in Haiti at home as well. I just didn't know how to do that. In time, I discovered that sharing my experience with others made me feel like I was reliving those moments. This satisfied me for a little while until I realized that those I was telling really didn't understand what I had experienced. So then all I thought about was how much I wanted to go back. The thought of going back to normal depressed me. Why do I keep putting normal in quotations? Well, I wasn't depressed about going back to school or getting on a normal sleep schedule or seeing my friends and family. It was going back to my normal life of not feeling the presence of God and continuous joy like I did in Haiti. That's what depressed me. What I didn't realize was the God who I felt so deeply in Haiti is the same God who is here with me in Highlands in my normal. Stage 3, cultural frustration. As reality started to set in more and more, I had come to an understanding that no matter how much I tried to explain my trip, no one was really going to understand it. I mean, let's face it. I could sit here and talk about my experience all I wanted to, and you could see a little bit of what I did and what we saw. But are y'all really going to honestly get an idea of what I had seen and what I had felt? Probably not. You may get a small glimpse of how amazing it was for me and the others that went on the trip, but I can't make you feel what I felt or show you what I saw. And that's frustrating because that's what I want. What's even more frustrating is seeing that our culture doesn't care as much as we should for the less fortunate than us. It seems as many times we are taking things for granted or wanting more, when we have people who don't have half the things we have. But what I realized in this stage is that this trip didn't open the eyes of everyone around me. It opened my eyes. It opened my eyes to be thankful for every little thing that I have in my life. It opened my eyes to be joyful for life even when things get rough. And it opened my eyes to make every day count. Stage 4, resolution. In this stage, I was back at school and getting back into the swing of things, back to my normal life. I was also struggling with the decision of going back to normal, which included forgetting about what I had experienced and what God had revealed to me, or I could make a change in my life. I decided to make the change. As I was thinking of ways to make the change, I thought, what if I made every day count? If only it was as simple as a thought. It seemed as if in Haiti, every single person I met was happy. Get this, people with so little had so much joy. More joy than some people who have everything. In my opinion, if all they have is love and joy, then that's all we need too. Imagine a world where everyone you met was happy. That would make a world of difference, wouldn't it? Us living in America and being the wealthiest country, we tend to let the little things get to us. I mean, some of us get a rough start to the day if we don't have one cup of coffee. Or maybe for me, it's not having my red velvet flavored Pop-Tarts. We let those little things bother us and sometimes ruin our whole day. If you think about it, it's silly. Here in this world, we have many people that don't have the opportunity to drink a cup of coffee or eat red velvet Pop-Tarts every morning. I'm not telling you to stop drinking coffee, or I'm certainly not telling myself to stop eating my favorite Pop-Tarts every morning. But what I am saying is, what if we didn't let those little things, or not having those little things, bother us as much as we let them? Instead, why don't we be thankful for the things that we do have? I think it would open our eyes and our hearts to feel the presence of God more than we do now. It's easy to block God out of our day-to-day life with the busyness of it all. So if each day we took the time to see God, feel His presence, and be thankful for what we do have, it would make a difference. I'm going to be honest, I don't feel the presence of God everywhere I go, and I don't think I'm the only one who doesn't either. In Haiti, it was as if I could feel God with me every step of the way. I could see God in every one of the children's faces. I could see Him in the beauty of my surroundings, and I could see Him in the love that the people showed us. Seeing the kids light up with so much excitement when we handed them a tennis ball, or when we were jump roping with them, or while teaching them songs, it was all God. The people were so happy there. It seemed as if they didn't worry about the little things, and that they took the time to make each moment of the day count and to spend it with God. Sorry, I lost my spot. While it took me traveling out of the country to realize this, everyone can realize this in their day-to-day life. I think if we were all grateful for every little blessing, we would make sure each day truly counted. So, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. As Max Lucado once said, this is the day. Don't rejoice after the day is over or just when something good happens. Right now, this moment is a gift from above. So happy or sad, rain or shine, rejoice in this day and be thankful for this day, whether it may hold good or bad, because this is the day that the Lord has made. If we do that, we will see God a whole lot more and realize how precious each moment really is. Always remember, we wake up to a new 24 hours every day. 24 hours that you will no longer get to have again. How will you make your day count?
Hear these words from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 22, verse 34 through 40. When the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together. And one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest? He said to him, You shall love the Lord God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And the second is like, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and prophets. The word of God today for the people of God. Thanks be to God.
As many of you know, I'm John Murphy. I'm a junior at Highland School. I've been going to this church for about a year now, and I was brought to this church by active mission work in Haiti with the youth. Mission work is a passion of mine, and I intend to do it throughout my life. So let me start with asking you a question. How many of us have a daily routine? I know that my daily routine is simple and repetitive. I get up at 6:30, I take a shower, get dressed, eat breakfast, brush my teeth, go to school, go to ball practice, go home, do my homework, maybe. Eat dinner, go to sleep, and repeat, day in and day out. It's simple. We have a routine that we like to stick to. It's in a comfort zone that we know, and it makes things easier, especially when you're trying to shuttle a kid, myself, to and from practice and up and over every mountain in North Carolina just for a soccer basketball game. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Now let me ask you this. Does a routine day count? I spent a few weeks thinking about this question myself, and honestly, my first answer was yes. I woke up, I got things done, therefore it counts. This is true. It's a good, productive day, and there's nothing wrong with it. But then I started thinking about actually making a day count, not productively counting, but spiritually counting. And with that thought, I second-guessed myself. And the biblical scholar that I am, or that Paul thinks I am, I knew the answer was somewhere in this book. As I think about this question, I think about the days of my life that I know I made count. Days like my first day of high school, the day my brother and sister moved out. Days like a few weeks ago when I started visiting universities for the first time as a prospective student. And most of all, my days spent in Haiti. I think of days that are important to me and that really stand out in my mind. For you, it might be graduation day, the day your child or grandchild is born, and maybe even a day that a loved one passes away. What do all these days have in common? Love. The love you feel in those days make it more than just another day. It makes it a lifelong memory. We love the hard work that has finally paid off and we have reached our goals. We love the beginning of a new life and the effect that it has on those around it. And we love the people that God puts in our life and the effect that they have on us. As I mentioned before, one of my most beloved times is the time that I've spent in Haiti. I've been to Haiti 3 times, and I plan to make a 4th trip within the next year. On these mission trips, people expect us to build a building or fix something up, but I haven't built a single thing in Haiti, other than emotional bonds that will last longer than a lifetime. These lifetime relationships mutually benefit us and them, but I'm more convinced that they benefit us. All these relationships were built on one thing, and love. The second trip I took to Haiti was a few months after my uncle passed away. At this time, I was struggling to find faith, and I ultimately wasn't too sure about this whole church thing. Looking back, the answer wasn't to run away from faith, but to run towards it. And by the end of that trip, I'd realized that. I had a newly found faith that was solely based on love. I saw how grateful I should be to have this life that God gave me. I truly have everything. A family that loves and supports me, a roof over my head, shoes on my feet, and a smile on my face. You might take these little things for granted until you see a child of maybe the age of 6 or 7 playing soccer with a ball that has already popped with the biggest smile on his face. Not only is the ball popped, he's barefoot, playing on gravel, in pants that are ripped from top to bottom. And on top of that, you find out later that his family left him behind, still smiling. To us, the simplest things in life that Christ gives to us are sometimes taken for granted. But to others, those things are hopes and dreams. Many of you knew my great Aunt Randy. She loved looking pretty and feeling like $1,000,000. She always did. Even though she loved her fashion, she kept her priorities straight. God, family, and most importantly, the love for those two things. It's weird though, right? Love can be built up so high and then be destroyed in a matter of minutes, as seen by the multiple terrorist attacks that have stricken this nation and nations all over the world, tearing families apart and causing a sense of fear. But this love is not only destroyed, but love is strengthened. That love helps rebuild, and that love helps guide. This can be seen by all of the emotional, tear-jerking Boston Strong speeches before basketball games, hockey games, and every sporting event. And also the city of Brussels uniting around a statue. I'm convinced that there's no stronger nation than after an act of hate. But that strength is not because of hate. It's because of love. In response to 9/11, Alan Jackson quoted the Bible in his song, "Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning?" simply saying, faith, hope, and love are some good things he gave us, but the greatest is love. We get caught up in life, going day in and day out, getting stuck in that routine. As I mentioned before, I'm probably the guilty of us all. But we lose sight of what really matters, of what really makes other things matter, and that is love. Jesus makes it clear to the Pharisees that they have their priorities messed up. Like many of us, the Pharisees got caught up in everything else that was going on. And Jesus had to remind them of what really matters, of what really makes it count. So love is the greatest commandment. Love God and love your neighbor. So let me end you with this. What really makes your day count? Amen.
I saw the light, I saw the light. No more in darkness, no more in night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Just like a blind man wandered along, worries and fears I claim for I'm home. Like a blind man, God me back in sight. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more in darkness, no more in night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Well, I was a fool to wander and stray, stray is the gate and narrow the way. Now I am praying, run for the right. Praise the Lord, yes, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more in darkness, no more in night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. So put your hand in the hand of the man who steal the water. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calm the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently. Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Every time I look into the holy book, I wanna tremble. When I read about the part where the carpenter built the temple. For the buyers and the sellers were no different than the fellas you and I profess to be. It causes me pain to know that I'm the man that I should be. So put your hand in the hand of the man who steal the water. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calm the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently. Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Mama taught me how to pray before I reached the age of 7. When I'm down on my knees, that's when I'm close to heaven. Daddy lived his life for 2 kids and a wife, and he did what he could do. And he showed me enough of what it takes to get you through. So put your hand in the hand of the man who steals the water. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calms the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently. Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Now put your